allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you. And then next order of business, if we can do the roll call, please.
Commissioner Bennett?
Present.
Commissioner Doris?
Here.
Commissioner Halley?
Here.
Vice Chair Nichols? Here. Chair Kine?
Here. Wonderful. Our next order of business will be oral comments from the public. Please remember, anybody who would like to speak, that you have 3 minutes to speak on any items that are not on the agenda today. We are unable to administer any information or vote on anything that is not on the current agenda. Is there any public comment? Nobody online? Okay. Can I get a,
You don't have.
oh, you're right, sorry. I'm new to this. Okay, I will close public comment. Number 3, consent calendar. The matters are routine, and a single vote for approval is all we need. Does any member of the commission wish to pull any items from the current agenda?
I just have a question. Can I ask
Of
a
course.
question? On the back of under item 6 adjourn, oh, I'm sorry. Under item 6 on the agenda, on the minutes, under adjourn, it says minutes, and I'm just curious what that means.
It's the minutes of the last meeting, so every,
No, it's on the adjourn item.
I'll have to look at it. I don't have it in front of me, but I
Okay.
will look at it and then
Okay.
we'll let you know.
I just didn't understand, sorry.
That's okay, thank you.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda, consent calendar.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Roll call? Oh, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Again, still learning the process.
I don't think I had to second that, did I? I think it was just a single vote.
Yes, you're correct. Yep. All right, then moving on to planning commission business, we will be discussing the approval of the design review for the Casa Park Homes at 365 North Fortuna Boulevard, Resolution P-20253124. And if city staff can do their presentation. Thank you very much.
Yes. Good evening, Chair Kine and honorable commissioners. I'm Sherry Meads, the Community Development Director, and as you mentioned, we are here tonight to review the design review application for Casa Park Homes located at 365 North Fortuna Boulevard. And this is a project you've seen before. We brought it to you in June of 2024 to approve a conditional use permit that would allow the conversion of the existing commercial building that was vacant and underutilized into 4 residential units. So one of the conditions of approval for that conditional use permit was that the project go through design review, which it also requires in the zoning code too, but it was just, added as a condition of approval. So here we are tonight to take a look at that. And so Casa Park Homes Design Review is the remodel of the existing 3,200 square foot vacant commercial building into 4 or fewer multifamily residential units. At this point, it appears that they plan to do 4, however, they can do less. They cannot do more because it requires a different type of CEQA exemption if they were to do that. The design review also includes on-site improvements like landscaping and improving the ADA accessibility and also adding parking, which is required. There are external changes, and the inside of the building will also go under a lot of change, but that's not subject to design review. So the project is located right at 365 North Fortuna Boulevard, just a little bit south of the North Main Street intersection. So you can see on the map where that is. It is a fully developed mobile home and recreational vehicle site. The general plan land use designation for the parcel is corridor mixed use, where residential units are a allowable use. The zoning is commercial thoroughfare, where residential uses are conditionally permitted. You can see where that is. It's up at the top part of that little map. Sometimes it's hard to get a good capture that shows the actual zoning district initials, so it's the CT zone. And here's a site plan. Again, these are going to be very difficult to see in slide format, but the PDFs were sent along with the packet and included on the agenda. As you can see, the existing commercial building is divided into 4 units, and you can see where the additional parking is placed, where the additional landscape is proposed, which we'll get a little bit more into later. But that just gives you an overall feel of the site itself. This is what it looks like now, a couple of different years from Google Street View. The top one is the most recent image on Google Street View, but I did the bottom one so you could see that there is right now parking for 4 vehicles across the front of the building, and that's one of the things that is changing with this project. There still will be parking for 2 vehicles, which will be really close to the front doors for the units, and that'll be convenient. But then in the center, between those 2, will be a newly landscaped area and a monument sign. And here's just a look of the proposed elevations. You can see that they've incorporated more than one building material, more than one color. They've added some non-fabric overhangs over the doors. The landscaping is added in this photo. You can see it is an existing building, so we're obviously not going to ask them to lift the roof or make any changes, but this style of roof is actually relatively common in some of the homes near the Mill District area. I drove through there and I'm like, oh yeah, very similar. So as you can see, they've carried the color scheme throughout all sides of the building, and it is a stark improvement. They, have made it look like a home. Here's the landscaping plan. Again, it's very difficult to really see on the slides, but they're incorporating landscaping pretty much anywhere there's space, including the spot that I talked about right in front of the building, where they will actually plant 2 large trees, which will provide shading and help with shade and heat and all of that good stuff. And the overhang that's already existing on the building will also help when folks are trying to get in their door with groceries. They won't get as wet. So there will be also a landscape area down by the street, and they'll be planting flowering shrubs and native grass. So the required findings for design review approval is that the project is consistent with the general plan and zoning, which it is, that the project is compliant with the California Environmental Quality Act, and that it's consistent with or meets the intent of policies set forth in the objective planning standards. Now, I could go into that more if you have specific questions, but staff has looked at the project, and they are incorporating most everything that could be incorporated considering it's an existing building. And the state does require jurisdictions to approve housing with as little difficulty as possible. So I feel like this project does meet the intent of the policies in the objective planning standards to the best of its ability. This details how the project is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, and that is where I mentioned that to qualify for one of the exemptions is that it's only minor exterior modifications and the conversion does not exceed 4 dwelling units. So staff recommends that you guys approve this project. If you've noticed, the resolution has quite a few conditions of approval to ensure the landscaping is planted and maintained, There will be wall sconces in front that will again add to the attractiveness of the building. We do have the owner and the architect here tonight if you have any other questions, but staff at this point recommends that the project be approved with the conditions of approval included in the resolution. So that's it for my presentation. And like I said, we do have a representative of the owner here tonight who drove all the way in from Sacramento, so feel free to ask questions, and the architect. And I do want to say one thing. I forgot to mention it on the site plan slide. I really had questions about leaving that drive aisle in the front. It felt strange to me, but I have found out since from the applicant that that is actually an important spot for, as people are going to be moving their RVs in and that type of thing, to have that temporary queuing spot, sort of like when you pull in to check in at a hotel, if you will. So I just wanted to put that out there because I had thought about that in case that was something that you have a question, which you may still ask a question about, feel free to, but I had that question. And again, that's it for my presentation. Happy to go into more detail on specific items or however you would like to proceed.
Sure, do we have a clear view of the front of the property from the street
Existing now?
in this presentation?
I can go back to, you mean what it looks like now or what it's proposed?
Well, I was curious, if my memory serves me well, we had talked about possibly doing some screening on the right side of the entryway drive to alleviate the kind of the straight-on view to the motorhomes and that from the street. Was that addressed?
So at this point, there will be the two trees, but they will be more centered or, kitty corner on the sides of the building itself. And there is the existing other commercial building that's already been converted to a residence. And then there was talk at some point about tearing down that one other building. And instead, that's going to be, from what I understand, repurposed as storage.
That may be what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
If that came down, that was going to
Yes.
open up that.
It's not going to come down.
Thank you.
All right, then I would like to open this up to public comment, and then the commission will be able to ask questions of both the architect and the owner afterwards. Is there anybody currently online? No? Is there anybody here publicly who would like to speak? Okay, then I will close public comment and see if anybody on the commission has any questions for the staff or the architect or the current owner.
I just have a comment. It's, I think it'd be a really nice aesthetic improvement, kind of step up the area, and then, I like the landscaping as well, going from hardscape to landscape, and, I like the architectural treatment of the building, and I think overall looks great, in my perspective.
Since I can't really read this very well, where are the parking spaces for the people who enter from the back of the building? The two front ones are like, it seems like they're right by their front doors. This is more of a curious thing. I don't know if there's any codes involved, but I'm not seeing where those people's designated parking spaces
Yeah, I
are.
think it showed it on that.
Oh, okay, he just showed me.
Can you see it okay now? Yeah, so they're pretty thoughtful.
big,
Yeah.
whole thing.
Exactly. They were pretty thoughtful where they place things, and, when you think about larger apartment complexes, sometimes you park really far away. So one good thing about these smaller scale residential developments is you can have parking pretty close, your storage pretty close. And it makes it much more convenient for folks to access.
Well, I also have a comment that I absolutely love this project. I think it's been a long time since this area has been brought up to be something you want to look at, and it's looking pretty good from my point of view.
And I just also wanted to check in, were there any comments from any of the neighbors that were reached out to within the 300 feet?
No, we did not receive any comments. And actually, design review does not get a direct mailing for 300 feet. It's one of the only entitlements that the city does not do direct mailing, but it was noticed in the newspaper.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well then I will look for a motion on this item. I'm sorry, you're right. No, I already closed public comment.
Did you?
Yes. I will see if there's a motion with the commission.
I will make that motion to approve Resolution P-2025-3124.
Second that motion.
Roll call?
Resolution P-2025-3124, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Fortuna approving design review of Casa Park Homes located at 365 North Fortuna Boulevard, Assessor's Parcel Number 040281006, and finding the project exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act. Commissioner Bennett,
I vote to approve.
Commissioner Doris,
Affirmative.
Commissioner Halley,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nichols,
Yes.
and Chair Kine.
Yes. Wonderful, congratulations. Very welcome. Moving on to the next item, the Planning Commission Staff Communications.
Sorry, I was saying goodbye. Staff communications. So we have quite a few things in queue, but nothing quite ready. So there's a really good chance we'll be canceling the next meeting because, as you know, I have to send out notification 2 weeks before to the newspaper, and I don't have anything quite ready for that yet. But there's a couple of exciting things coming our way. Other than that, let's see. We've got a couple of people heading down to the Planning Commissioners Academy. Thank you again. I look forward to hearing back on how that goes.
You sound like an intelligent person.
You already do, but I actually attended as a staff member when it was in San Ramon a couple of years ago and really found it extremely beneficial and useful. I enjoyed networking with the commissioners and other staff that were there, so I hope you enjoy it, and it's in Santa Rosa, so say hi to all my friends. Other communications, that's about it. Continue to work on ordinances as I can. We have Gary Goad here, our building official. It's me and him. That's it for community development. We did do a recruitment for a senior administrative assistant, thanks to Ashley and Sienna for that, mainly Ashley, I think. We received 17 applications, and most of them were very qualified, so we will start interviews soon and see where we get with that. I was very impressed with the turnout. I wish we could hire all of them. But I also do want to thank Ashley and Sienna for when she's here, because certainly they are supporting my department and stepping up in a time of need. So, and Gary is also doing a fabulous job holding down inspections, because our inspector decided he was going to cash out his retirement and live happily ever after. So we are determining what we're going to do in terms of whether we hire an inspector or reconfigure a few things. So lots of things happening in our department.
All right. Well, thank everybody for all their work. I really appreciate
Can
it.
I do a communication too?
Of course.
I think I don't know how long ago it was that the bylaws were reviewed, and I'm thinking it would be really cool, maybe after we get back, to do a workshop and take a look at our bylaws and maybe some of our structure and how we do it, and just review it, keep it up current, and if we learn anything that's valuable at all, maybe we can incorporate some of that into our meetings.
I think that sounds like a great
Yeah.
item.
We had two workshops when Liz was here, and they were very, it was very good to do that. And
And
it's been about 3 years.
Let's chat offline, unless everybody wants to hear about what exactly was covered, so that I can make sure that I live up to my predecessor.
No.
Oh, I'm teasing.
Right. Unless there's anything else anyone would like to mention, then I will close this meeting. Thank you, everybody.